Shu Kai's interview on El Oficial Hommes July, 2024. Title, Shu Kai Fire Breaking Through the Cocoon. Translated by Topaz. Introduction. Shu Kai landed in Shanghai straight from the deserts of Shengwei, Ningxia. The moment he took off his windbreaker in the dressing room, it felt as if you could hear the sand hitting the floor. In just a few days, he would join the cast of Fire Investigator. The action-packed, testosterone-driven storyline had him excited well in advance. The role in Fire Investigator needs to be darker, rougher, he said. To prepare, he went to Ningxia to endure the sandstorms and then to Hainan to soak up the sun, all to close the gap between himself and his character. In his mind, the fire scenes in the script were already exploding, the raging flames were ready to tear through old labels and open a new map. Part 1, A Promise in the Boundless Sands, late, yet it came. Right after Chinese New Year, Sword and Fairy and Best Choice Ever kicked off Shu Kai's 2024, marking a strong start to the year. These two series, one Ningxia fantasy, one urban drama, also reflect the dual faces common in his acting career. But from Shu Kai's perspective, he's not keen on locking himself into any labels. There's no such thing as a comfort zone. Every role is different for me. Sometimes a character may seem similar to one I've played before, but I always try to find something in them I haven't interpreted before. From his breakout in Story of Yanxi Palace to now, Shu Kai has grown increasingly thoughtful and cautious about the direction of his career. Breaking away from familiar roles isn't an urgent requirement at this stage, but I do need to keep exploring, to find new opportunities. His upcoming project Fire Investigator has him laser-focused for two reasons: the subject matter and the chance it brings. I've always liked crime and mystery genres. It probably comes from my childhood obsession with police dramas. Reading the script, I found there are many fire and explosion scenes. I was hooked. I even started imagining them in my head early on, haha. He's already begun preparing for the role of Yutong, working out, researching the character's profession, and diving into the technical knowledge required. Going to the desert had been a wish buried inside me for a long time. Most desert scenes in costume dramas are shot indoors with just a pile of sand. When you watch the final cut, you can't help but think, if only we could really shoot in the desert, how amazing would that be? The first night he spent in the desert, sand blowing into his collar, was both irritating and oddly satisfying. On social media, Shu Kai posted a photo with the caption, "Late, but it came." The caption subtly hinted at more than just reaching the desert. It felt like a quiet celebration, a personal nod to finally sealing a long-awaited new opportunity. Part 2, Breaking the Pattern, Staying in the Game. Earlier this year, in Best Choice Ever, Zhiming's entrance immediately ignited the chemistry with Mai Qinghuan, setting off sparks that elevated the official CP dynamic. In the upcoming As Beautiful as You, Shu Kai steps into Han Ting's shoes to reflect the genuine emotion and inner thought behind the so-called dominant CEO archetype. A lot of people associate the term dominant CEO with a brash and arrogant persona. But in reality, neither Zhiming nor Han Ting operate based on that external stereotype. Yes, they can come across as domineering at times, but that attitude stems from an inner reckoning with reality and a strategic consideration for the bigger picture. As Beautiful as You tells a love story between an investor and a startup founder. To Shu Kai, investor Han Ting is a man of absolute reason and clarity, more like a ruthless, strategic businessman. In a world bedazzled by appearances and temptation, it is only when he encounters Zhiming, a spirited entrepreneur, that a glimpse of his inner self begins to emerge. Yet the responsibility he shoulders is unimaginable to the average person. When faced with pivotal decisions, he often has to downplay, or even sacrifice, his own emotions. Sometimes I wonder if he was too ruthless, for example, quietly influencing his partner's company from behind the scenes and orchestrating acquisitions. Given his identity and responsibilities, it's hard for him to provide emotional support purely from the standpoint of a boyfriend. His overarching perspective and mindset are beyond anything I've ever experienced, or even imagined. This level of understanding allows Shu Kai to distinguish Han Ting from characters that only appear similar on the surface. Within a seemingly familiar narrative, he breaks through the public's entrenched impressions of a character archetype by uncovering the internal story behind the role. This, to him, is what innovation in acting truly means. If an audience remembers the story, remembers the character, that's the highest reward for any actor. To achieve that, you first have to uncover what makes the character unique, and the actor himself must possess a distinct understanding of reality and perspective. Part 3, Conversation with Shu Kai. Men's last year you were a torchbearer at the Hangzhou Asian Games. How will you be following a major sporting event like the Olympics this year? Shu Kai, I'll be especially watching events like diving, basketball, and table tennis. I actually really want to see the games in Paris in person, but I just don't have the time. Men's what's the sport you've stuck with the longest? Shu Kai, running, and using machines at the gym. I'm about to play a firefighter, so I need to work more on arm strength. Men's what's your current standard for what makes a good project? Do you often compare the impact of your current projects to that of phenomenal hits like Story of Yanxi Palace? Shu Kai, no, Story of Yanxi Palace is already in the past. For my current projects, the first priority is to give my full effort, the second is to ensure there's something memorable for the audience. I'm also giving more thought to my professional direction, so that I can build a longer-lasting acting career. Men's your projects have been released at quite a fast pace lately. Will that continue throughout 2024? Shu Kai, I still need to find a balance between work and rest. Even though there are many upcoming events and variety shows, I'm trying to slow things down a bit. For a drama like Fire Investigator, it takes more time to truly grasp and settle into the character.